Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my photography shopping live stream where we go online together and look for deals and I try to cherry pick a few. There are a couple of good deals today in the filter area and a couple lenses and so we'll share that and I'll have links down below to everything I'll be talking about today, but my main link is robtrek.com/deals. So if you go there, you can go right to my page where I kind of handpicked all of the best deals that I could find and or really good products that I think that I would recommend. So I'm sorry I didn't give much notice about this stream because my mom's still in the hospital, so I wasn't sure if I can stream, if I would be able to stream. So same thing's gonna go for Friday. I know I'm not gonna be able to stream that day either, but she's doing well, and hopefully she'll be discharged soon. But they're still keeping an eye on her. Okay. Anyhow, let's go ahead and set up everything. And full disclosure, I am an affiliate for Amazon, B&H, eBay, all the usual places. For everything I'll be showing you today. So if you buy anything through my links and you do it within 24 hours, I'll get credit for that or commission for that. Or within 24 hours of clicking the link. Okay, and I see Henning's here. Good morning. And Roger, good to see you. And thank you, Henning. I'm sure she'll be fine. I talked to her this morning and I talked to the doctors, so everything is looking good. Okay. Let me pull up my page. But yeah, I feel bad I'm not able to do an editing live stream Friday. I might have to try something on a Thursday. We'll see. Where's my deal page? Here we go. So this is my deal page here. So if you go to robtrek.com/deals, this is the page that you'll see. And I found a few deals. A couple of them are from last week, but also a couple of them dropped off. Mainly in the SD card area, because the SD cards, once they run out of a stock of a certain SD card, they're gone. And when they come back at like double or triple the price. So for example, there was a card last week. It was a 128 gig V90 card for like $65. And now they're out of stock. And you're not going to be able to touch that for a while, it seems, because prices are just crazy. But there are still a couple of good deals here. This 256 gig V60 card for $66.99. It's a generic, but it's getting decent reviews. And I've bought generic cards before, and they've been fine for me. So I think, and this brand has been on Amazon for a long time, so I I'm sure it's fine, but I can't speak from firsthand experience. But I bought a different EM Tech, which also got good reviews on Amazon, and that's been working great for me in my OM3. And I always recommend at least the V60 card if you're going to be shooting, particularly burst mode, high speed continuous shutter, things like that. This will clear out your buffer a lot faster, and it works well just about in every OM system and Olympus camera for that matter. It'll improve the performance of all the cameras that take UHS-2, which is I can go as far back as the EM10 Mark II and up. All of those take and that's something that doesn't get talked about a lot for OM system Olympus cameras, is the UHS-2 compatibility even on older Olympus cameras. So this is a really good deal. I can tell you, once this is out of stock, it's gone. So like, here's the 128 card is $50, right? That's probably about the right price for this, but for a little more, you can double it. But once this is out of stock, this is going to be like $100. It's not going to be $66.99 anymore. So I would definitely look into that. Okay, and then one other thing I need to do is, let me refresh this page. All right. Okay, okay, the Viltrox Spark Z3 Flash. So it's available for Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fuji. I tested this on the Fujifilm camera, particularly for focus bracketing, and this thing works great. Let me close the door real quick. Ellie is just going crazy over here. All right, come here. Come. Ellie. Hey, come here. Are you hungry? Come on. Come on. There you go. Wow. She's FedEx guy's like right outside. Oh, seriously. She just can't. She can't help herself. So anyway, the Viltrox flash is a pretty awesome little flash, and it worked really well on my Fuji, and we can probably extrapolate that it's going to work well on these other cameras systems as well. Fortunately, it's not available for OM Systems Olympus, but if you have any of these other camera brands, I don't think you'll be disappointed with the performance of this. If you can kind of get over this steampunk kind of look to it. It's very powerful at 26 watt seconds. Uh, so it's really, really good for focus bracketing and in the Fujifilm. You won't have any problems with that. And then there's a few lenses here on sale. The 25 millimeter 0.95 for Fujifilm. This used to be available in OM Systems, but they're out. They're just not offering. It was here like a couple of months ago, but it looks like they're kind of clearing this out. But it's available in these other mounts, E mount and Z mount, for that price. And I've used this lens on a full frame camera, and you get pretty significant vignetting in the corners when you do that. This is an APS-C lens, but if you use a square crop, you get a really nice kind of vintage look to your images. So I can recommend this lens. I really like it for that sort of vintage look on full frame cameras and for very low light, photography if you want to do that. But primarily this is really good for, I think, getting sort of that vintage vignetted corner look and really shallow depth of field because of the 0.95. It's really a nice lens. It's very heavy. It's not a small lens. All metal build, so it's well made, but yeah, I enjoyed this lens when I had it. And then of course Tamron is always offering really good value for their lenses. This one in particular, the 28 to 75 2.8 G2. This is for the Sony E mount. It may be available in other mounts, but I know the Sony one works really, really well. It's very sharp, very fast, no issues with this at all. No reason to spend, 3 or 4 times this for a, G Master or something like that. And then Canon lenses are also on sale. There's a variety of Canon lenses on sale, but this is the one I would probably recommend, other than the 51.8. But this one is a really nice wide angle, fast lens, very compact. It's not quite a pancake lens, but it is quite small, and it's a full frame. So If you enjoy wide angle photography, or if you want to do wide field astrophotography on your Canon camera, specifically the RF mount, this is a great deal. I've been thinking about this one for myself for a while. Uh, I may just pull the trigger on this one. But I just don't shoot with my Canon camera very much, so that's why I haven't bought it yet. And then there's some batteries on sale here. Some Sony batteries, 50% off for a couple of spares. Now just be aware that when you buy generic batteries, that when you put them in your Sony camera, sometimes a message will pop up saying that this is not a, OEM battery and we can't guarantee performance. So I just click OK and ignore that. So it's a little bit of an interruption in the workflow if that matters to you. It's gonna pop up randomly, not right away. It comes up like a few minutes later. And then when that happens, you don't get a readout of the battery level. It just shows the battery level full or empty, but you have no idea what the status of the battery is once that happens. But the batteries do last, reasonably well. Not as good as the OEM, but they last reasonably well. And you're getting the charger, which works on the OEM batteries. So you got a nice little travel charger you can take with you, and you got a couple of, generic backups. So $26.74. That's a pretty good deal. I would buy it mainly for the charger and the generic backups. It's just nice to have spares whenever you need it. Just to kind of get you through that little extra bit sometimes. And then same thing for Fuji. Now this one here, I bought this one myself. And this was back, what, God, 2.5 years ago, for my Fujifilm camera. And what I like about this is the batteries are okay. They last about 75%. Uh, they're probably only about 75% of what the OEM batteries are. That said, I love the charger because it shows you how many milliamps it used to charge the battery. So I noticed that when I put my OEM batteries in, it takes a lot more milliamps to charge it full. So, I can get about almost 2000 milliamps on an OEM battery. On these generic batteries, I was getting 1300 milliamps. So it's like filling about 60%. But I'm getting anywhere from 60 to 75% of the OEM performance. But this is really good for diagnosing how good your batteries are, because as your batteries age, they can't hold as much charge. So you'll see the number of milliamps charging the battery drop and drop, in this little tiny display here, right in here. But yeah, $22.49 for a couple of spares, and the Fujifilm doesn't have the problem like the Sony. You can use these generics and they work just fine. You see the battery level, so you know the status of your battery as you're using it. But so I can recommend this, particularly the charger. I really like the charger on this, and you're getting, that's a really good deal, 50% off. And then I know a lot of people bought the V480, and a lot of people also have the V350. Whoops, why did that jump down? Okay, so the V480 and the V350, this is the battery that uses it. And while I've never had to replace, swap batteries while I was in the field, because the OEM batteries last quite a bit, some of you might be running low or want a couple of spares. So this is a good deal, because the OEM battery is like 40, 50 bucks for one, and you're getting two of them here for 28.88. So, and just expect them to last. If you get 500 shots out of an OEM battery, you probably get about 350 to 400 out of a generic. Is my assumption. Okay, it's not going to be half, but it's not going to be 100% either, right? So somewhere in the middle, you'll get pretty good battery life out of these. Okay, and then this is an exceptional deal. This is the older Godox X wireless trigger. This is actually the very first Godox trigger I ever bought, and it works great. For $23, if you don't need the fancy pants touchscreen that they have now, uh, you can get away with this one, and it works. It works fine. What's nice is it uses two AA batteries, so in theory, you could use this forever. It's going to outlast the new fancy ones that have built-in lithium-ion batteries. And the battery life is fantastic, of course, because it's just a trigger and basic LCD display. And I have a full tutorial on my channel on how to use this. So if you do get this trigger, you can watch my tutorial and get full instruction on everything that it can do. But it works great. And it's cheap now, because I remember I paid like $46 for it myself. And then a little hot shoe riser for Nikon and the Godox IM30, IM20. This is a TTL riser, $6.45. And it has a little PC sync cord here as well. So if you have generic flashes, you can fire it that way. So I like this. And you can add, this effectively adds a PC sync cord to any flash if it doesn't have one already. Most of them do, but some don't. So you can add a PC sync port just by attaching this to the shoe and use it off camera. Okay, let's see. And then a couple of Panasonic lenses. The 45 to 150 goes on sale every couple of months. Right now, it's an amazing deal for $147.99. If you have a Panasonic Micro Four Thirds camera, this is kind of a no-brainer. It's a great lens. And then we also have if you have an L mount Panasonic or even a Leica L mount, this is a fabulous lens. I bought this one and I loved it. I got rid of all my L mount stuff, but I still kind of regret it. But this is the same exact price I paid back in 2022, and I thought I got a good deal back then. So this is a really good deal to get a brand new 50mm f1.8 for your L mount Panasonic cameras or Leica. It's just tack sharp, and it's a standard focal length, right? So you can do a lot with it. All right, and then I'm going to go over a few more things. Well, let me pause here. I see there's a lot of things in the chat. I thought I saw a question. Let me see if I can answer that. Then I'll talk about some of these filter deals. Let's see. John Follows, good to see you. Thank you for the well wishes for my mom. Yeah, I don't know when I can do the editing stream this week, but we'll see, because I have to squeeze in a photo job, and randomly they might discharge my mom. And then Friday, definitely I have an appointment with my mom to see, for something else. But anyhow, good morning, sorry, I can't pronounce that one. Sayamanta, Sayamantak. Okay, Sayamantak. I'll go with that. Hopefully that's close. Good to see you, and good to see you, Paul. What is the best version of the OM1 to get? I would just get the Mark 1. The Mark 2 is the best, okay? Specifically, the Mark 2 has the bigger buffer. I think it has like a 200 frame buffer, and that can make a difference if you do a lot of wildlife and birding. So I would go with the Mark 2. That said, I've seen the Mark 1 sell for like $800-900, refurbished on eBay. And at that price, which is at least 30-40% less than a Mark II. And I don't think the Mark II is worth 30-40% more in my opinion. So I would get the Mark One as a really good value. You just keep in mind that the buffer is not as deep. So I've run into situations where, the bird will take off and start flying around, and just when he's ready to do something interesting, my buffer fills up, right? So that's partially on me because my timing's a little off, but partially because you don't know what the bird's going to do. Uh, they might do the most interesting thing just when your buffer hits, which has happened to me so many times. And a 200 frame buffer would have been very helpful in those situations. But that said, probably 90% of the time I get the shot I want with the OM1. And supposedly there were some improvements in autofocus, but the autofocus, I have the OM3 and I don't really have a feel for if one is better than the other. They're both really good. And I wouldn't hesitate to use either one in terms of autofocus. Okay, and Julio, good to see you. And Paul says, good to see you, Rob. I just came from OM System hands-on event at the beach. Oh, that's cool. Do you have any recommendation on a remote shutter release for the OM5, the old model? I assume you mean the Mark 1. Or do you know of an option to use a timer in live composite mode? It doesn't show up on mine. Ooh, that's a good question. So I guess what you're trying to accomplish is a delay between when you push the shutter button or activate the shutter button. You want a delay and when it actually starts to take the exposure. I don't have an OM5 Mark 1 or Mark 2. And the Mark 1 was very similar to the EM5 Mark 3. The only thing let me try something. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to try something, and this should work on an OM5, but I just can't do it. But off the top of my head, what I'm thinking is the silent shutter settings is to, if this has that, I don't see it. iView boost. Let me just take a look. Now on this camera, there is a 2.5 millimeter jack here, this middle plug, and you can use a remote shutter with this. So I can make a recommendation there, but let me just see if there's a delay for the live comp. Because I know on the OM3 I can do it. Release. Capture. If it's not in the capture menu, it's not going to be here. So let me try the camera menu. No. Ah, here we go. So if I set this to 2 seconds, or 4 seconds, and then let's put this into live comp mode. No, that didn't work. Let me just double check that I had it set. It's not set. So 4 seconds. All right, let me try one more time. Nope. It worked on the first shutter, but it didn't do it for the second one. Because if I push this, it waits. And then it starts going right away. Ah. Okay. So what you have to do is you're going to have to use the 2.5 millimeter jack. And then for that, there's a lot of options for remote shutters. Let me take a quick look. And so your cheapest option is going to be something like this, right? This has a 2.5 millimeter jack on one end, and then it just plugs into this. So this is a wired remote shutter. And let me just see. Yeah, you want to get the Canon one. Oh, they have, no, don't get the Panasonic. The Fuji one works and the Canon one works. So the Canon one's a little cheaper, so I would just get this one. So that's one option, okay? So I'll give you the link for this. And then let me go to remote shutter release. Let me see if there's anything else here. I would, now there's one here that's a little bit less, for $3 less, but I would get this one because this one, if you want, you can change the the pin, the plug, so it'll work with other cameras. So this future proofs you a little bit by getting that one. Let's see, they have the wireless remotes as well. Let me see if I can find a decent one. Here's one for $35.99. That's pretty reasonable, but that doesn't have an intervalometer or anything built in. So let's find the, because the one I bought is a Pixco. Yeah, this is the, or Pixel, sorry, Pixel. So let's find, an Adeline is on sale, but it's not that cheap. So we can do the Pixel, and you want to get this one, the Canon one. They do sell one for Olympus, but I don't see it here. So this one I have a full tutorial on my YouTube channel as well, how to use this. But this is a wireless option. You know, it's 3 times as much, right? But you can, you know, I prefer a wireless shutter release, but this is a good one too. So I'll give you the links to this, to both of these, and I'll put that in the chat section. So this is the wireless. Let's just call it remote shutter. And then we have the wired one. Wired. So either of those two options will work for remote release if you want to do live composite. So that you can push the shutter when you're ready and not have to touch the camera. Okay. Yeah, let Ellie in. And Ethan, good to see you. Here to learn. Okay. And Kevin, good to see you. And Ethan says, I'm addicted to 120 shooting on my Mamiya. Now I want a smaller Mamiya 645. This film shooting is very addictive and expensive. They're coming out with digital backs. I may consider. I know, right? Considering a digital back for my OM1, they make them with APS-C sensor that work with the original OM1 and OM1-2N. Kind of expensive, but neat option. I wouldn't do it. Honestly, why not just adapt a vintage lens to your existing OM system cameras? It's the same thing. You already have a digital back. It's your actual camera, right? Now, I get it. If you want to have your actual vintage camera and use it, I would just rather shoot film if I'm shooting in my vintage camera. I don't get the fascination personally of these digital backs for these 35mm cameras because I can just adapt the original vintage lenses onto my original onto a regular OM system camera. Okay, and then oh, okay, you're welcome. All right. If any, the only thing that is remotely interesting to me is the digital backs for like my Hasselblad, right? They're freaking expensive, 5-6 grand, but that would be really fun, right? To go out with my, because it would natively mount to the camera. And if you can find a digital back for your Mamiyas that will just mount natively where normally you would mount the film, that would be really cool. It would solve a lot of my focusing issues because I could just use focus peaking, right? Instead of using the screen, because I think my screen's a little bit out of alignment or something. Okay, let me go back here and we have some filters on sale. So 62mm filter. This is just a regular variable ND. 62mm fits like the 12-40 f2.8 Pro and many other micro four third lenses. It's a good deal. The only caveat to this particular, and it comes with a lens cap, okay, and a lanyard. But the only caveat to this ND filter is you have to be a little careful of slight color casting. So if you're going to deal with if you're dealing in critical color situations, or you want to get your white balance right, you're going to have to adjust the white balance before you start taking pictures. So for example, I used a filter like this that was not a true color variable ND for a portrait shoot. And all of the images came out a little bit with sort of a slight warm cast. They were a little bit yellow, right? But, I took a white balance card and took a picture of that. And then every image after that, all I had to do was just correct for the white balance. It was only off slightly. I didn't, you wouldn't notice it too much if I didn't tell you, but there is a color cast with these non-true color filters, but it's cheap and they're sharp. They work well. So if you want to get into, if you want to get into long exposure photography and do flash photography, this variable 1:5 stop one is ideal for that. It's a very cheap way to get in. And this is a true color filter, so you can see it's double the price, and it's not an ideal filter size. 52 millimeters, you'll find those on some Fujifilm and Sony lenses, but anyway, it's a 52 millimeter filter thread. Not very common on Micro Four Thirds, but this is a true color one. This one you don't have to worry about color shift. I would still do a white balanced card or something, but if you don't, you're not going to be too far off. And that's the key difference between this one and the other one that's about half the price. Now with solid ND filter sets, this isn't a 58 millimeter. You don't have to worry about color shift. These are solid. They don't rely on polarizing the light to get the to reduce the light into the camera. So that's why there's really no color shift with these. And they're stackable, so it says 3, 5, 6 stops, but if you stack them, you can get like, I don't know, 10 or 20 stops. I don't know what that number is, but you can stack them for even more light reduction. And it comes with the case. The case is worth like $8 or $9 all by itself. So you're getting the filters for like $1 each, or less than $2 each. So this is a really, really good deal. And it's in a filter thread size that is, very common on Micro Four Thirds. Okay, and let's see. KNF Concepts, they have, of course, an excellent filter set. This is a magnetic ring version. So what you do is you put the magnetic ring onto your camera. It screws on or onto the front of your lens, and then you can swap filters very easily because they're magnetic. So this is a nice filter set. They don't go on sale too often, but when they do, I like to show off the KNF filters because they are very, very high quality. And comes with the filter case and a lens cap, magnetic lens cap, which is kind of cool. And it's in the 58 millimeter filter thread size, so it's a really good deal. It looks like the other filter sizes are on sale, but the best deal is definitely on the 58. So if you were wanted to use a magnetic filter set and you like the convenience of being able to just pop them on and off, I did for a long time. I had the 62 millimeter set, but my 12 to 40 broke, so I don't get a chance to use it as much. But I did like it when I was using it. Okay, and here's another solid filter set. This one, instead of having 3 ND filters, this is a little bit more viable or usable. You have an ND8, ND64, and a polarizer. Everybody should have these kind of filters, a ND filter and a polarizer in their photography. And it comes with the case. So this is an excellent deal. It's in the 77 millimeter filter thread size, but a lot of Canon lenses are at 77 millimeters, so always double check your filter ring size that you need before you get any of these. But when they go on sale, I do like to point them out, and this is an exceptional deal. 3 filters with the case for $849. And then this is another one. Oh, oops, sorry. This is the other one. This goes on sale every couple of months. Comes with a filter case, a little lens pen, and 4 ND filters, all the way up to 1000. This will do everything, okay? If you want to do long exposure photography on a bright sunny day, you can do it with this filter set. It's great for waterfalls and any kind of motion that you want to slow down, and any kind of long exposure photography you want to do. You combine this with things like live comp and live bulb, or the other computational features we have, live ND even. You can stack live ND on top of real ND filters and get really nice effects. So yeah, 62 millimeters, very, very common size in Micro Four Thirds, perfect fit for the 12 to 40 f2.8 Pro lens, which I think this would be ideal on. And because they're solid NDs, you don't have to worry about color casting and all of that. It's pretty sharp. and pretty clean. Pretty clean when it comes to color. And then the one last filter that I found on sale here is an ND filter, a variable ND filter with a diffusion filter set. So this is typically used again with flash photography and videography, right? So the black diffusion filter, basically what it does is it diffuses the highlights a little bit. It softens them up, but you still got good contrast. So as opposed to like the mist filters and other types of diffusion filters, the black diffusion filter is designed in a way to soften the highlights but still maintain the contrast in the shadows. So this is a nice little set. You know, if you have a 77mm filter thread for $13.24, you're getting a variable ND that's not a true color, so you're going to have to, again, watch your color. If you're going to be critical about color, you're going to have to watch it with these non-true color filters. But, you know, image quality and all of that, you'll be perfect, you know, is fine. Okay, speaking of memory and storage, now there are cheaper 4 TB drives, but this is a Transcend. It's a very good brand. And also it has the rugged, you know, it's rubberized, so it's a little more rugged. So this is about $10 more than you'll find other 4 TB drives selling for, but I think that's a good compromise in price versus durability. So this is a pretty good deal. It's not an SSD, it's not solid state. It is a physical drive. But you know, if you look at other 4 TB drives, let's find another one. Like this Seagate. This is a great drive, but it's not rugged, right? So yeah, you can save $10 or $20 here, but yeah, $20 in this case, but you're getting a rubberized case with this one, so you can go either way, but I thought this was a pretty good deal for a rugged external hard drive. Now this doesn't say that it's on sale, but it's actually at a very low price. This typically sells like for $33, like this blue one. The blue one is $33. For whatever reason, they knocked the price down on this without putting it on sale. They just reduced the list price to $18.46. This is a really good deal. If we check the price history, you can see this is on sale. It's just not saying it's on sale because this was more than double the price back in here, right? I mean, it was as high as 50, let's say $55 just last month. And right now, it's selling for $18.46. But essentially, it's a lens case, right? It has lots of dividers. You can stuff all your lenses in here. You can use it as a camera bag, but it's a little awkward as a camera bag, but you could. But it's primarily for carrying extra lenses. And what I would do with this is probably put this inside my backpack. So if you have a backpack that wasn't designed for cameras, you could put this into a regular backpack that you might already have. You don't have to buy a camera backpack. Just stuff this inside and you instantly have a camera backpack, right? For $18. So I really like, this is a really good deal. And then Wandered, excellent deal on this backpack. I love their backpacks. I would buy one if I didn't already have a bunch of backpacks. Excuse me. But when you buy, you have to be careful because if I click on bag only, you'll notice that it's $131, right? For basically the same thing. But you have to get the photography bundle because if you don't get what the bag only means, it's just an empty bag. There's no dividers or anything. So you get the photography bundle and it includes this camera cube, which has all the dividers and stuff inside. So 179, that's about as low as I've ever seen it. That includes the photography bundle. If you already have dividers, like the one that I showed before, if you already have something like that, maybe you can just buy the bag only. But the quality of this bag, you know, my friend has one and it's awesome. This is a very high quality backpack. You know, this is the kind of backpack, it's basically a lifetime backpack. It's really a good backpack. Uh, Now going to the other extreme, this one's on sale for $20 with the coupon, $20.24. And, you know, it's just a practical backpack. It's very slim line because it's only 5 inches deep or 13 centimeters, but it's very wide and very tall. So it's really ideal for Micro Four Thirds in terms of the dimensions and not being bulky around your waist when you have it on your shoulder. Comes a little rain cover, so that's kind of nice. But for $20.24, make sure you check the coupon. Uh, this is a pretty decent bag. I don't I don't see where the divider's inside. They don't really show that. Maybe further down. Let's see what they got. Yeah, there we go. So you get two dividers with it. But this is a nice little with some tripod straps so you can carry a small tripod with you. And canvas, you know, gray canvas. There's other colors there. I think those are on sale also. Like this was a nice looking one. This doesn't have the coupon though, but it's, you know, if you want to save $6 or $7, just get the gray one. And then of course, you know, this bag, this is a bag that I have under a different brand. It's a nice bag for $21. I paid like, I think I paid about $25 for mine, but I got an exceptional deal. Normally this is selling for $34 to about $40. But if you get this kind of generic no-name brand, you're not paying any brand tax. So you're getting a really nice little bag for $20.99. And now we're kind of going into mostly everything from last week, right? I did add this 12 to 100. It's a really good deal for $11.99. And you know, the 45 millimeter, the 40 to 150, the OM3 with the 12 to 40. These are all excellent. The OM5s are on sale. Here's another memory card. This is the one I was talking about. This was $59, a 128 V90, but it's gone. Now you can see the 64 gig is the same price as the 128 was. And once these go out of stock, like this has gone out of stock in a while. So that's why the price is 150 bucks. It's a V60 256, but that's a lot. But okay, that's just an example. Let me shut some of these windows down. There's the V480 I talked about about the batteries earlier. And yeah, the Amazon bag is still on sale. These diffusers, this one's still on sale. That's a really good one. This is only $8. The Panasonic camera is still on sale. You get the 20 to 60 and the 50 millimeter with the S5 II for $20.97. A couple of tripods, tabletop tripod. This is a great little tripod. You know, I have a different brand of this, but it's the same one. I think I paid $30 for mine, but this one's $35. This is the cheapest you're going to find, this style tripod. It's very sturdy and will hold a lot of weight. You won't have any problems with this. But if you look at just about anything else in this class, you know, here's one from Newer. It's the same one. This is the one that I bought for about $30. It's the same one. It's just branded differently, but it's $42.49, so it's, you know, it's $7 more, right? And all of the charging banks are still on sale. Here's a 10-stop ND filter, $10. That's a good deal. So a lot of these things down here, these are not necessarily on sale. A lot of them are, but uh, I just thought they were good deals as is, with or without a discount. And if they happen to be on sale, even better. Like these step rings, these never go on sale. I can't believe this is, $1 off, an already really good price. So if you have a really good filter that you want to adapt to a different lens, this is how you do it without having to buy another $100 filter, right? Okay, so those are the main ones that I had for today. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, I'll try and elaborate on it. But I think I've pretty much explained uh, all you need to know about these. So I'll go back to the chat section and see if we have any other questions. And Paul says, thanks so much. Oh, you're welcome. And I like gimmicks. Yeah. I do too sometimes. You kind of get into that gadget mode sometimes. Uh, I like little gadgets and things that I can put, hodgepodge things together and try different things. And Paul says, I need the grip. OM3 won't work for me or my wife without the grip. Yep. So the grip that the OM3 that I have in here, this is a good little grip for 40 bucks. It's on sale for, $2 off basically. This is a good little grip. Now, if you want the exact one that I had, it's slightly better in my opinion, but not by much. It's a Leo Photo, I think. Yeah, they don't have it here, but if I search for it this way, this is the one that I have. You can buy it from Leo Photo directly or on eBay for 57. I don't like the wood grips personally, but yeah. But this is the one. This is the one you want. This is the one that I have and I really like. It's a little pricier. It's 20 bucks more, right? Or $27 more. But it's a good little plate. It has the main thing it has is that it has this additional cold shoe on the bottom. So if you do want to attach any cold shoe accessory, you can do so directly to the plate without having to put stress onto your hot shoe, or maybe you already have something in your hot shoe. This grip will give you the option. Now, to be fair, I've never used it, even though I thought I might. I can't think of any situation where I've actually used it. I can think of ways to use it, but I just haven't done it. So there's that one. But this is the one, this is basically the same thing without the cold shoe on the bottom. So you can get that one. And Ethan says you can get an adapter to use the Hasselblad digital back on Mamiya. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Hasselblad digital backs, they have two different kinds, right? The H version and the V. I'd like to get the V because it just natively fits. And Roger says, how do you adjust the color balance with the color card in the field? Oh, well, I don't have my color card here, but you can buy them pretty cheap, right? What you do is you just hold, let's say this is the color card. Actually, you know what? I bought this wallet. Not this one. This one. I bought this wallet that's gray. So just in case I forget to bring my color card, I can use this even. But you get a color card. It can be this size or a little bit bigger. And you ask your model to hold it in front of them, and you just take a picture of it. And then when you go back into your photo editing software, you drop your white balance eyedropper onto the gray card, basically, or the white card, either way. typically it's usually like a light color gray. It's not like a 18% gray. That's, you want to use the lighter one. If you get a set, it comes usually with 18% gray, a black, and a white, or an off-white. Not off-white, but I mean like not quite pure white. And that's the one you want to use for white balance when you put that in front of your model. The other thing is you can get a larger one. Ideally, it's a little bit larger, and then you can just do one touch white balance in your camera. A lot of cameras have custom white balance, and you can set the white balance right there in the field in camera. But that's a little bit awkward sometimes, and it's easier, especially if the light's changing, like you go under a tree or you go into a different room where the lighting's different. It's easier just take another snapshot of the model with the card and then adjust in post-processing later, rather than trying to set white balance in the field. And can you stack real ND filters? Yes, you can stack them. You can stack your ND4, 8, and 64 all together, and then you get whatever multiple that is. And I have a handful of those cases for Lens Sword. Yep, they're awesome. Hey, Marco, how you doing? It's good to see you. And the Great Vanzini, good morning. And Shri, good to see you. Any good camera shoulder strap deals? That's right. Let me look at the shoulder strap real quick. Because basically, I think on the 150 to 600, you have a loop here, and you can also hook up here, right? So there's a loop on the lens itself, the barrel, and then also in the shoe. I use just the rapid strap, right, with just the one on the, just this one here. This was what's most comfortable for me, and this is what I used when I borrowed David's 150 to 600. That's all I used was a black rapid strap. So I can definitely recommend this way to go. If you're talking about like a shoulder strap that loops in here, and then you get a D-ring into the for the foot, and it loops in there. I mean, let me take a look at the PGY Tech. I've seen them. PGY Tech. So this one's on sale for $39. This would be a good one. And it has the quick release. Let's see, what is the plate for? It's interesting they include a plate. I mean, I know what a plate's for, but it's just odd to me they would include it with a strap. So let's see, let's see what happens here. B&H. B&H has it on at the same price. So I assume this is the one you're looking at. But let's see what other straps are on sale. We can do, oops, not by brand. So these are all good straps. Let's see. Ruckpack makes a good, Rugard makes a good one. Of course, Peak Design. And then there's PGY Tech. What else is in here? I wouldn't, VSGO will make a good one. And then one, this probably be a good budget option. So let's see what comes up here. So that's, yeah, that's double the price. That's a wrist strap. That's double the price, double the price. Yeah, the PGY Techs. I'm just going down. Oh, God, there's so many here. Let's sort by low price real quick. All right. Camera straps. Why am I getting keyring stuff? And what brand is this? Ruck Pack. Let's get rid of that. Man, there's still a lot of pages here. Those are too thin. Terion makes a leather strap. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so that looks like that's it. Then from here it's like PGY and Peak Design. So what I'll do is I'm going to add this to my deal page. So if you want to get that specific PGY tech, Amazon has it on sale for the same price as B&H. There's some other ones here that are generic. Terion has a decent one. It's not as nice as the PGY tech, but it's $21. By not as nice, I mean the buckles to adjust the strap size. But really, you only adjust the buckle one time and you're set. This looks pretty decent. So you can try this one. Terion you can trust as a brand. So I add this to my list. And then let me see if there's one other option here. I would avoid that. I don't like that one. Yeah, I think those are the two best options. Because you want the strap to be relatively wide, right? You don't want to get like a 1-inch strap that I use. You want to get a nice, 2-inch strap. And like the Black Rapid one, yeah, it has a 1-inch strap here, but the shoulder is padded. So this is a good 3-4 inches all the way across. I would let me find you a Black Rapid. Let me see if there's anything here on sale. Yeah, it's $81. $120. Wow. These are expensive. But I'll add this one also to my list. Because I found this to be the easiest. I much prefer the Black Rapid strap over the two other straps, because with the Black Rapid strap, right, the difference is right here is I can slide. It's hard to demonstrate this. Let me just put it on my shoulder. So like I said, you can kind of see how, I can just rest it over and it's nicely padded here, right? But this side, the camera and lens are free to slide up and down, see? Like, let me see if I can give you a good angle. See how this slides up and down? So when I pick the camera up like this, it's very, very fluid and very smooth. Whereas, you're looking at regular shoulder straps, right? Like the PGY Tech. That's not going to be the case. The whole strap has to move with the camera because, it's attached in two different points. Whereas the Black Rapid strap, I guess hence the name Rapid, right? You have this area here where the camera and the lens can slide up and down without the whole strap without moving the whole strap. So just think about that, that particular, the ergonomics of that, right? So that's why I prefer the Black Rapid strap over just using a regular shoulder strap to carry, a big heavy lens like that. Okay, so if it were me, I would spend a little extra and get the Black Rapid strap. There are generic ones out there for a lot less money, but yeah, I wouldn't risk it. You know, I would just get the Black Rapid. And the Black Rapids almost never go on sale. I've only seen it on sale once or twice a year. So, and even then it wasn't that big a deal. Okay, and then Henning says, other than the holy trinity of the f1.8 Panasonic lenses, you several times mentioned superb L-mount glass. Could you elaborate a little more about that? Sure. Well, they were just always tack sharp, corner to corner. Uh, the 20 to 60, yeah, it lost a little bit on the edges, but all of the glass, I think it was a combination of the glass and the camera itself. Originally I had the Panasonic S5 and a Panasonic S1R, and the it's just hard to explain. They're just I just don't have any lenses that were better than those L-mount glasses at those price points. I mean, when I buy $350 piece of glass, my expectations are not very high. But you're getting, I'd say, a glass like that 50 millimeter 1.8 for $347. I would argue it's as good as a $1,000 lens, if not more. Same goes for the 85 and the 35 millimeter 1.8s from Panasonic. Those are really, really excellent lenses. People have said that Leica's 35 millimeter L mount, and they look almost identical. So clearly Panasonic made the lens for Leica, but that lens is $1,000. So I don't have too many examples because I hardly use the cameras. Hence, that's why I got rid of the S1R and the S5. I really didn't use them. But when I did, I was very, very happy with the images. And Eric's here. Good to see you, Eric. Oh, the sling one. Uh, Let me see. I didn't see a sling PGY tech. There's the shoulder. Ah, here it is. So you must be talking about this one. I'm sorry I missed that. This looks awesome. The key difference here is that it's just using this little nylon cord that's taking on all the weight. You know, the Black Rapid one, this is not a nylon cord, right? It's actually a carabiner ring with a double lock system. So I would, for $20 more, I would still get the Black Rapid over the PGY tech in this case. So I just don't like the idea of putting the weight of the lens and the camera, especially that big lens, to rely on just that one little nylon cord. That's a little iffy. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. Supposedly tested to 90 kilos. I wouldn't do it. I would just spend the $20 more and get the Black Rapid, to be honest. Okay. And Ethan says you can actually purchase a 6x4 for the RB67. I have one for mine. We'll give you 15 shots from a roll of 120 film. Oh, okay. But that message was for Ethan. Sorry. That was between you two guys. Okay, that looks like that's it for today, guys. Yeah, I would recommend the Black Rapid. So I'll add that to my deal page. It just, unfortunately, yeah, it is on my deal page. Let me just make sure this is the right one. Yeah, that's the one that'll go over left or right shoulder. Yep. I'm just sorry. I'm just looking at it again. Because this is a little bit different than the one that I have. The one that I have is for going over my left shoulder only. This one will go over either shoulder. I think the one that'll go over both is like quite a bit more. I'd give you mine, but I think I have this one. This cheap one. I gave it away to Dave though. Anyway, yeah, these are too cheap. This is the one that I have. Wow, this used to be like $80. This is the one that I have. The key difference is that this goes over, well, it says right, but technically that's over my left shoulder so that I can pick up the camera with my right hand. So if you're right-handed, this is the one that you want. But this has the additional strap. I never use it, but this has the additional strap that goes under your armpit. So it's even more secure. But I never use it. I never use it. It's just not, I don't find it very comfortable. So the other one that's only $80, that's the better way to go. Okay. So we'll call it here, and I'll look at my schedule again and see if I can figure out when I can squeeze in a photo editing stream. And then I'll be back Sunday for a regular photo chat. And then Monday I have, I'm going to have some OM System ambassadors, a special live stream on Monday for that. So stay tuned for that. And thanks everyone again for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the support through the using my affiliate links and memberships and donations, all that good stuff. You guys have always been very good to me and I appreciate it. So you guys have a great rest of your day, a good week. Eat healthy and exercise, and I hope to see you guys all again